What's up, everybody? It is 3/9, or actually it's 3/10, depending on where you are, 2026. This is another episode of Tales from the Road, minus L29. We have Tadpole in the house, and we are here tonight to talk about some more creepy stuff. Guys, remember you can hit us up at talesfromtheroadmedia@gmail.com. You could hit us up on the Facebook page, Tales from the Road Media Facebook, and you could always hit us up at yourguyontheroad@gmail.com. Also, the Tadpole Trucker @gmail.com. So if you ever have a story or something that you want to tell us, you can always tell us and get a hold of us. Whether it's nighttime or day, or you see something strange at the night, or you see something while you're driving on the highway. While the rest of the world is asleep, we tell you tales from the road. What's up, Tadpole? How you doing, buddy?
We're talking again as usual.
That's right, man. Well, I have an interesting theory I'd like to talk about tonight, and I'd like to bring up something that's kind of spooky, but not so much a fun way, but more in an ominous world-ending way. Now, we all know that we believe in God and we believe in the apocalypse and the rapture and stuff like that, but it doesn't mean it can't happen in a certain way. It doesn't mean it has to happen with a series of events. I'd like to bring up the Mandela theory tonight and the super collider, the CERN super collider, and other things as well. So what is your thoughts on the Mandela Effect? Do you know anything about it, or have you thought about these things in general, or what?
I can honestly say I've heard y'all mention it, but I've never understood what it is or what that entails. So if you're going to enlighten me, that would make me feel a lot better.
Well, the Mandela Effect. I know you're a little young, so I think people remember things. Remember in the show we were talking about interdimensional shifts and things where maybe things were missing or things wasn't the same, or people remember things differently, like your heart being on the other side of your body and stuff like that. Do you remember that conversation that we had? Okay. So the Mandela Effect is a guy named Mandela. He was a guy that ran Africa. He was a big time advocate of human rights and all this stuff. Anyways, he died in prison in my shift, but other people remember him not dying in prison, but he got out of prison and he got out at certain dates and stuff like that. So Nelson Mandela started the Mandela Effect. Oh, you're remembering it wrong. Okay, that's true. You might remember something wrong, but how is the whole world remembering something wrong? Especially when this was before the internet. This was just newspapers and TV. How does the whole world remember that Nelson Mandela didn't die in the 80s? Okay. He actually died in 2013. How is half the population of the planet remembering an event wrong? Now, mind you, Nelson Mandela would be like, to you would be, I don't know, George Bush Jr. Okay, you know who that is. It would be a big deal. You would remember that. Do you understand?
I do. I'm following along now.
Okay, so give me an example of your Mandela effects, okay, that you think. Now, let me ask you a question. We'll start off with things, and we'll get your experiences. Jiffy peanut butter, right? Mm-hmm. You know the Jiffy peanut butter. It's the red, blue, and green peanut butter, right? How do you remember the peanut butter?
It always just being creamy and the same.
No, but I mean like the name.
Oh, it's just something that was easy to remember. It's 3 letters, and it just
3 letters. So you remember it as Jif peanut butter, correct?
Yes. Did you say Jiffy?
Okay, I remember it as Jiffy. That's right. That's a Mandela effect. So I remember Jiffy. You just remember Jif. You might be from a shift. You see how this works? Okay.
That's
Now,
kinda creepy.
have you ever seen Looney Tune cartoons, like the old Looney Tunes?
Of course.
Everybody's seen Looney Tunes. Okay. Tell me, in your opinion, the Looney Tune, okay, how do you spell Looney Tunes? That way you remember it. Don't Google it. I want you to tell me when the rabbit pops out of the little bullseye thing. Remember? It's like a little circle that they pop out of, and it says Warner Bros. Okay. How do you spell Looney Tunes?
Looney.
And then?
It is Loony.
Okay, Looney Tunes. Okay, so spell the whole thing.
Oh. LoonytOONS.
Now, you remember TOONS? You remember that specifically?
Yeah.
For sure. What if I were to tell you that it's Looney TUNES, tunes, not TOONS? And if you Google that right now, it will show you TUNES, not TOONS. And I distinctly remember watching Roger Rabbit and seeing tunes, TOO, you're a tune, you're a tune, you're a tune, you're a tune. Now they're telling me it's tunes like the music. That's a Mandela effect. The Berenstain Bears, you don't know anything about that. But the Berenstain Bears is BERENSTEIN. That's how I remember it. Bernstein. I read those books, but it's Berenstain with an A.
I've always been told it's the Berenstain Bears.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. You ever seen Curious George?
Oh my gosh, yes. Who hasn't?
Okay, describe Curious George when he's playing with his tail and his monkey and his banana and all. Describe him.
He was just a little short little monkey who always had his tail up above his head.
And he always got in trouble, right?
Always got in trouble.
Right. What if I told you that Curious George in the statement pieces when they had the pictures and images, what if I told you he never had a tail?
What?
What if I told you that Curious George, the curious little monkey, what if I told you he didn't have a tail? It was never there.
He's not a monkey then.
But what if I told you that tail was never there?
I'd fucking be questioning it, honestly.
You be calling me a liar.
Mm-hmm.
Curious George's tail was never there. So the thing is, these Mandela effects, for instance, I'll give you one that you should know. How is Febreze spelled? You use Febreze every day. How do you spell Febreze?
Breeze. Or
what if I told you it was called Febreze? You see what I'm saying? This is a weird thing. No, it's FREE. It's FEBREEZE. No, it's FEBREZE. And I know this sounds silly. And I know this is different podcasts. You guys are waiting on this. Oh my God, where's the weird stuff? This is weird. This is interdimensional shifts at its finest. Okay. Oscar Mayer. Okay. How do you spell Oscar Mayer? How do you spell the word Meyer?
MEYER.
Say it again.
MEYER.
Okay, it is MEYER. No, it's Oscar Mayer with an A. It's MAYER. But you know you've seen it say MEYER, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not how it's spelled. So, this is the thing. We all think that we Fruit Loops, that Turkey Leg and King Henry. Does the Monopoly Man have a monocle?
Yes.
Okay, the Monopoly Man never had a monocle. He never had a monocle, according to these people that make the game. Pikachu, never had a black thing on his tail. Pikachu.
What?
The
He's
black
also a
pizza.
black thing, yeah.
But he doesn't. But if you Google Pikachu right now, he will not have a black thing on his tail. Matter of fact, while we're sitting here, I want you to Google images of Pikachu current and look at his tail.
Let's see here. Pikachu.
Images. You won't see a black thing on his tail. And if you do, ask for the original image of Pikachu.
Oh my God, you're right.
That's right. That is a Mandela effect. You remember distinctly that black mark being on his tail. Kit Kat bars. The candy bar. There's no hyphen in the middle of Kit Kat. It's just Kit Kat.
I remember that now.
But there was a hyphen. Fruit of the Loom. There was a cornucopia basket behind the Fruit of the Loom underwear. There's never been a basket there. According to Google Fruit of the Loom logo image. Do it. I want to hear your reaction live on the podcast.
Let's see here. Fruit of the is listening to us. What? All right, okay, I see some. It's got a cornucopia behind it.
But that's not the original logo. The original logo had no cornucopia.
Hmm.
This is what I'm saying. This is the Mandela effect.
Hey, it popped up on Google. It says Fruit of the Loom Mandela effect.
Do you know Star Wars?
A little bit. I just got into it recently.
Okay. So in Star Wars, C-3PO. You remember C-3PO?
The tall robot that did all the talking?
Right. Did you know that he has a silver leg?
A silver leg? I thought he was all silver until one of those.
He's all gold. All gold. He's a gold robot. He has a silver leg. This is what I'm saying. This is the point I'm trying to make. The Mandela effect. This is the problem of the world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Forrest Gump. You ever seen that movie? Last example of Mandela effect.
Oh yeah, I love me some Forrest.
Okay, what is the most famous line of that movie? And he's on the bench.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You
never know what you're going to get. Do you know, what if I told you he actually says life was like a box of chocolates, not life is like? You would call me a liar.
Because I've heard him say.
But if you Google it right now, he'll say life was like a box of chocolates, not life is like. Now, why am I going to these simple literary things? Here's the problem. The super collider is focused in CERN's Large Hadron Collider. It's a high energy particle that makes collisions that they look for the God particle. So they're miniature black holes. They create these black holes in a lab now. But the CERN Hadron Collider is this massive, huge, giant collider. Have you ever seen Terminator, where they were in that little thing and the magnet stuck, the brand new Terminator movie, where the magnetic thing stuck the Terminator to it and they died or whatever, and that I can't remember the one, but they're running from the creature. They're in that little collider thing. They turn on the thing and the girl gets stuck to it. Have you seen that Terminator? Yeah. That's a collider. So imagine let's see, the Hadron Collider. How big is CERN's Hadron Collider? You can look that up and see. It is just massive. It is just a massive collider. And what it does is it collides particles, and it creates these big giant energy waves and these moments in time where these atomic particles collide. They can see the Big Bang. They can see the essence of all life. They can make science out of it, make items out of it, use it, whatever. This is how we've shifted dimensions. When they turned that thing on, they could have technically, by physics that we know, they could have, I mean, other people might argue, but I've heard that they can create a black hole with this thing if they screw up, theoretically. And it could swallow the Earth or kill everybody. There's a theory about the microscopic black hole. Now, imagine, do you know what a black hole is? We all know it's a thing that sucks everything in, right? Science fiction.
Yeah.
Even one as big as your pinky could swallow the world, in theory. The theory that the collider could create tiny black holes would not instantly evaporate, but instead fall to the center of the Earth and consume it. Strange manner, Mandela Effect, parallel universe, interdimensional universe. If the CERN collider destroyed our dimension and shifted us, like threw us to the left or right. Remember when I said if you have dimensions that go 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3 to the top, 1, 2, 3 to the bottom, diagonal and sideways, right? Every dimension that's as close, dimensions that are close to you, they'd probably be doing the same thing. I told you. The dimension that's the closest to you, there's so many differences that you can't even tell, right? So like Cheerios is spelled different. Looney Tunes is spelled different. You see the different, they're so similar, but these are microscopic differences that we can still exist in. People are getting strange cancers and stuff. People are getting strange heart attacks. People are just falling dead in the street. They're just zonking out. Why? Because some people can't exist in multiple dimensions. Okay, these cancers that aren't even supposed to affect adults are affecting adults that affect children and vice versa. So now that I've given you a mouthful, I want to hear a good thought on what do you think's going on? Do you think this is an interdimensional shift? Do you think this is the work of the government? Do you think the government is doing a Mandela effect, like a let's put a bunch of false crap out there and see what they do? Or are they actually trying to lie to us because it did happen? Like, what's your thoughts as a young man in today's world? What is your thoughts on what I'm telling you?
I think that the government does have something to do with it a little bit, because they're always involved in every damn thing we do anyways. But I also feel like there's actually something else going on in the universe. You know, it's kind of like Doctor Strange, you know, the multiverse. He kind of explained it well. There's always a different form of us everywhere else. You know, they're all over the place. So what's to say that we're just not overlapping together and just stuff's running together and causing confusion because we're seeing through some of this time warp or whatever's going on? How do we not know that we're just colliding, you know, a minuscule bit of what's going on? I can't wrap my mind around it.
Well, they've been in operational since 2008, and the scientific community thinks we're all a bunch of hacks, quacks, and we're crazy. But what if they did do it and the government's messing with us? Or what if they didn't do it and the government's messing with us? Now, in the inner dimensions, the hypothetical beings proposed to exist in dimensions beyond our known three. We have 3 known spatial dimensions in time. That's scientifically facts. There then, when you start messing with stuff like this, if we are shifting, are there interdimensional aliens? Aliens from Mars. Just for instance, let's just pretend there's aliens on Mars. Pretend. They didn't come from millions of miles. Let's just pretend. These aliens live on Mars right now in our universe. Do other aliens live on Mars in the next universe, the next universe, the next universe? And are these aliens actually being able to intercede in our dimension? That's what I want to know.
I believe they are. I believe they're all freaking intertwined in the fabric of being. You know, they're intertwined in the thread of life and the fabric of existence. So I believe they're all intertwined somewhere or another because we're all connected to that same thread.
Well, you have the alternate to extraterrestrial proposed by researchers like Jacques Vallée. His theory suggests that UAPs are not coming from other planets, but rather manipulating from different dimensions. And that would be so much easier for an alien to not travel millions and millions and millions and millions of light years. See, if an alien does exist, which I know they do mathematically and probability, they would visit our planet if they knew we had resources, in my opinion, but they wouldn't travel so long to just dominate us. What would be the point? If we got visited by an alien race and they made themselves known, I promise you it's not for being friends. It would definitely be for takeover. Or what would be the better theory? That the aliens that we can see are actually from another dimension and they have better science. And they're like, look at these idiots. These guys are messing with a collider. We can jump through time and space. We could take cows. We could take people. We could take their eggs. We could use these people to help us because we have damaged our own universe. The described masters of deception or non-malevolent entities seeking to influence human culture and thought rather than merely conduct scientific research. What did I just say? There are people that run these dimensions or know that there's a shift. Maybe they're extra-dimensional aliens. Maybe they're demigods. Maybe they're dark entities such as Lucifer or his followings or minions. But they are masters of deception, and they're seeking to influence human culture, where we have this shift of violence towards our elders and not caring. And have you noticed the world? Yes, it's in the Bible, and maybe this is part of the rapture. Then this has to happen. No, it could all be connected, which it is. But is the world not different and weird? And not just violent. I mean, people don't even have respect for ladies crossing the street. So it's odd to me to think that this is the same universe that I grew up in. I know it's always been bad, but people are really crazy nowadays. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Thoughts on that?
I believe every day the world's changing, and everything we as we see it is it's changing even more drastically than what we realize.
But is this an influence from interdimensional beings, whether it be demonic or not demonic? Is this shift we see because of interdimensional beings that have found a way in our plane? Or is this just people just changing for the worst because of biblical things? Or is it all connected to both?
I believe it's connected to both. I mean, I think it all goes hand in hand, but it's hard to wrap your head around it because you want to see both sides, but then part of me thinks, that there's no other life out there like extraterrestrial, but then the universe is so vast that it's hard to not believe that there's more life out there. So how do you actually know that there's not nothing out there that's screwing with us, from another dimension? We've already proved other dimensions exist.
That's correct, because while rooted in theoretical concepts like string theory, which allows up to 11 dimensions, that's scientifically on our plane. We accept that there's a theory the string theory, which allows for 11 dimensions. They teach it in school. The hypothesis is frequently discussed in UAP, which is unidentified anomalous phenomena. Studies with some official claiming credible evidence for their existence. So there are scientists that come forward, but then they die in a car wreck. I find that highly, obvious. I mean, we just had a plane crash in a clay building, a while back, and everybody was shocked. Oh my God, everybody's dead. But the building still stood. It's a clay brick building. How do you crash a plane into the towers and it collapses the entire tower? Are these interdimensional beings, could be considered the lizard people and stuff like that. I just believe that there's an interdimensional shift. I believe that we have shifted, because I do remember without a doubt that Looney Tunes was not Tunes, it was TOO. I would go to my grave, I would swear on a Bible that was true. Not because I remember it wrong, but because it was emphatically true. I saw it on TV. I've seen it in my own eyes. I know what I saw. I know that Nelson Mandela died because I remember my mom and dad hearing about it in the news, and they were talking about it, and it was a big deal in school. And I went to a Christian school, and my teachers were talking about it. You know?
What if all these cryptids and skinwalkers and stuff that we've talked about over the last couple episodes, what if they're causing a lot of this effect too? They're slowing stuff down and making us...
Or they're coming from other dimensions.
That too. What if they're doing...
Because they say... Go ahead. Just to mess with us, but maybe they're... Like Bigfoot's been here, Sasquatch's been here, but can they move in between dimensions? I know they can see our light. Okay, well, let's fast forward. Skinwalkers, Mothman, these horrible, weird, and especially skinwalkers. Are these creatures not supposed to be here? Have they just found their way on our realm, on our plane? Why? Because you heard reports of certain things throughout the histories and whistlings and all this stuff and paranormal, but now why are you getting these new creatures? Especially from 3 Mile Island, which is a nuclear research facility where all kinds of weird stuff happens in America. Why are we seeing these new creatures pop up? Skinwalkers didn't start coming around to the modern day. You never even heard about stuff like that. The Native Americans had versions of it, but nothing like we're seeing now.
What if they just traveling through time and space and they just get lost and get dumped here? What if we're the wasteland for them? We're their feeding ground.
Well, the idea of multi-dimensional ships has raised many inquiries about the true nature of our reality and what our real place is in the universe. If there is indeed more than one universe, does that also mean that there may be many versions of ourselves living in different dimensions and having our own realities? And if that's the case, how can we be able to communicate with them? Are spirits just another version of ourselves? If you know that your grandma was saved and you know she was in heaven based on your theory, and pretend it's real, which we know it's real, but just pretend if you don't believe, is the woman that you see appearing before your bedside as your grandmother, not your grandmother? Well, it's a demon. Well, is it a demon, or is it just another dimensional version of your grandmother? Because we know in the Bible it says don't converse with spirits. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's something that I wouldn't know how to do with. I mean,
when the grandmother visits you and they have a dream and they see you and I had a dream about old Miles today, but you saw grandma at the bed going, help me. But she was dreaming it, but she was from a different dimension. While you think it was a spirit, she thinks it's a dream.
Well, think about, I think everything's done intentional. I feel like if we've seen an alternate version of ourselves, it would drive us mad seeing ourselves again. I feel like if we all knew we existed, then we wouldn't have the purpose that we're here for.
Yes, but the thing is, you have to understand, we live in a world where these things happen. And they are happening now all around us. And this isn't something that we can stop. This is happening now. So these occurrences could be considered glimpses into the realities in alternate dimensions, which different beings exist. It is a hard concept for some people to grasp. But these ideas of shift challenge us into understanding of what's really happening through space and time. But if we're shifting through time and there's a collider incident, or there's a reason that it's happening, or it's always happened, do interdimensional beings like these shadow people or these demonic entities hold weight to be that they could be some kind of interdimensional creature that can interact with you and kill you? That's what scares me, because what happens if they touch you? Is that the scratches? Is that the theory of, I heard something go bump in the night, but what if it was just your other self running through that same house?
Yeah. What if some of these things that are here is like a giant freaking magnet pulling everything out to you too? Something that's just so so utterly powerful and scary that it's pulling everything here with it, create more.
Well, you're talking about jinns, demons, these powerful entities that have these powers, so to speak, could just be interdimensional beings that come into your house or whatever, but the reason they have power is because they're not on their plane. Like for instance, I could bring something up silly, just out of science, out of fiction, out of fakeness. Superman. Why is Superman so strong when he comes to Earth? Well, because he has a different sun here. His sun's different. He's got different gravity. He's got different everything. That's why he's so strong. Which, I'm not going to get into the Superman theory, but because he came here and lived here, wouldn't he be restricted by our same physics? Whatever. He has alien DNA, sure, but that doesn't change gravity for him. But whatever. I just know that you have interdimensional beings and you have interdimensional aliens, otherworldly beings from outside our planet. But interdimensional beings are outside our universe, but still possibly from our planet. Anything and everything crosses the multiverse planes. Supernatural. Otherworldly beings tied to a spiritual realm of some sort. I consider them interdimensional beings, but specifically tied to universes like heaven and hell. Just because they're not gonna, so if you got a demon from this universe, but he goes to a different universe, he still has to go to hell and heaven. But what hell? What heaven? And how powerful is that demon? And why are some more powerful than others? It's very scary to think that you're driving down the road and you see the black dog and you're tired. Is that an interdimensional shift? The shadow people that are just standing there, are they spirits? Some of them. But are they also maybe people that are shifted from our other plane?
Then just think about, would you really want to know, or would you be too scared to actually know? That's just... Some people might really want to know, but I feel like if they get the answers they really want to see, they may realize then that it ain't really the answers they wanted to see, the answers they really wanted to know. It might drive you completely freaking nuts.
I just know that when we were visited as human beings, when we're visited as shepherds or whatever, we know that things were built on this earth. We know that things were here. We know that the spiritual realm of the Bible, Scripture clearly speaks of spiritual beings, angels, demons, spiritual powers. But
right.
These visitors that have visited like Betty and Barney Hill, they had that experience where they were abducted. When I get my mom on the show, she's going to record her statement. There are people getting abducted. There are people getting taken. There are animals getting taken. There are children getting taken by these cryptids. Why are these things happening? And why aren't they happening in the shadows? It seems more and more like these things are happening right in front of our face now. And there's no care given to the world as of why they're doing it. Like, things happen, but they used to happen in the shadows. Nothing happens in the shadows anymore. Why do you think that is? I want a big thought on that. I want you to digress a lot of what we said, and I want your opinion on this, Tadpole.
I think a lot of stuff happens in shadows because it's...
But things are not happening in the shadows nowadays.
Okay.
And go ahead.
Because it's the evil, the things that they're unknown are comfortable now. They feel like they've got us all in their grasp, and they don't feel the need to hide what they're trying to do anymore. There's a whole regimen that they've got planned, and they don't care who sees and what it is, And
what's evil? But what's evil? What is evil to you? Is evil Hitler? Did you ever did you ever squash a cockroach?
Yeah, I think we all have.
Is that evil?
Yeah, you're taking a life.
Is it evil, though, inherently, to kill a rattlesnake?
No.
So is it to them not evil to take us and do what they want with us because they're higher beings? And have you known anybody that's been taken?
I don't know anybody that really has been taken. But
No, but answer the question. Is it evil to take us if you're a higher being, if you look at us like roaches?
I guess not. I mean, you make a valid point there. I mean,
And who makes
normal?
And who makes these decisions? What's evil? What's not? This isn't bad. This isn't good. When they come and take your child in the middle of the night and bring the child back, but it's not the same child, is that evil? We perceive it as evil, but what is evil? Is Hitler evil? On our plane, Hitler's terrible. He killed a bunch of people. He's a genocider. But to these interdimensional beings, is genocide just another day? What's your thoughts?
You got me all kind of rattled up because I'm trying to process it, but my dial-up's not dialing up because I'm trying to process everything you've told me.
Listen to this podcast. So listen to people go, wait, whoa. Who's going to be the one to fall in line? And who's going to be the one to stand up and say, no, this isn't right. I know it was this way. And that person goes missing? Or are we, in fact, shifted to another dimension where we have changed and our universe has changed around us?
Oh, man, now you're cooking some good grits there. I mean,
well, guys, we're out of time. That's the show. Final thoughts. Go ahead.
I think you need to be more observant on everything that you're doing. And just pay more attention and see if these things actually pop out to you. Things we talk about are real life things, and they apply in your everyday life, and you just don't realize it. So pay more attention and see if you can catch these things and get back to us on our websites.
Guys, remember this. Things happen all around you. The universe is infinite. Your God is real to you, but my God is as well. But there are things we don't understand. The truth is out there, and it will be revealed. But they also might be tales from the road. Until next time, guys, be safe. Hit us up on talesfromtheroadmedia@gmail.com. Hit us up at Tales from the Road Facebook group. Also, your guy on the road @gmail.com. The Tadpole Trucker @gmail.com. It's been good. Until next time, we appreciate your support. Survive and stay alive.